They say revenge is a dish best served cold, but I prefer my revenge served on fine china, in a room full of people who thought they had buried me, with a side of absolute, undeniable shock. I stood in the doorway of the Park estate, the same house where they used to make me scrub the floors to learn humility. The same house where my ex-husband, Min-Seok, told me I was nothing but a mistake. Tonight, I wasn't wearing rags. I was wearing a custom Givenchy gown that cost more than Min-Seok's car. I listened from the hall as Min-Seok raised his wineglass. "To family," he sneered, his voice slurring slightly, "and to keeping our bloodline pure. We all remember my lapse in judgment 8 years ago. That American girl, the leech. Thank God we paid her off before she could ruin us." My hand tightened on the silk of my dress. But before I could step in, a small voice rang out, clear, sharp, dangerous. "Say that again about my mother, uncle, and my father will cut your tongue out." The room froze. Every head turned toward the 6-year-old boy standing in the archway. My son, Leo. He had my curls, but he had their face. The sharp jaw, the obsidian eyes, the Park arrogance. Min-Seok dropped his fork. His mother, Madame Park, clutched her pearls. "Who?" Min-Seok stammered. "Who are you?" Leo stepped forward. He didn't look like a child. He looked like a king in miniature. "He am Leo Park," he said. And then a shadow stepped up behind him, a man so large, so terrifying, that the air in the room seemed to vanish. Jae-Sun Park, the exiled brother, the black sheep, the ruthless head of the Shadow Lotus Syndicate, and my husband. Jae-Sun placed a hand on Leo's shoulder. He looked at his trembling brother. "You called my wife a leech, Min-Seok?" Jae-Sun asked, his voice a low rumble of thunder. "Funny, I call her the boss." "Wait, stop. I know you want to see Min-Seok cry, and trust me, he cries. It's delicious. But if I show you the ending now, you won't understand the pain it took to get here. You won't understand why seeing me holding Jae-Sun's hand destroyed them. To understand the victory, you have to witness the war. You have to go back 8 years, to the day I made the worst mistake of my life, marrying the wrong brother. I was 22, young, stupid, hopeful. My name was Nia Jenkins. I was an art history major at UCLA. I thought the world was a canvas waiting for me to paint it. Then I met him, Min-Seok Park. He wasn't a mafia boss then. He was just Minnie, a business major with a bright smile and a black card that never declined. He chased me, flowers every day, picnics on the beach. He told me I was his American dream. "My family is traditional," he warned me once, "but they will love you because I love you." Liar. We got married right after graduation, a small ceremony in Malibu. It was perfect, until we landed in Seoul. The Park estate wasn't a home, it was a fortress. Min-Seok's family wasn't just rich, they were the family, the Golden Dragon clan. They ran the docks, the casinos, the politicians. And his mother? Madame Park. She looked at me like I was a stain on her white carpet. "This," she said to Min-Seok in Korean, thinking I didn't understand. "You married this, a foreigner, a black woman. You have polluted our line." Min-Seok didn't defend me. That was the first red flag. He just looked at his shoes. "She's temporary, Mother," he mumbled. "Just a phase." I should have left then, but I loved him, or I thought I did. So I stayed. I tried to be the perfect wife. I learned the language, I cooked the food, I dressed how they wanted. But it wasn't enough. For 18 months, they broke me. Madam Park fired the maids. "Nia can do it," she said. "If she wants to eat our food, she should work for it." I scrubbed the marble floors until my knees bled. I was the wife of the heir, and I was treated worse than the help. And Min-Seok? He changed. The sweet boy from UCLA vanished. In Seoul, he was weak. He was desperate for his mother's approval. When I cried to him at night, he'd sigh. "Stop complaining, Nia. You have a roof over your head. My mother is just old-fashioned. Try harder." Then came the necklace incident. Madam Park's diamond choker went missing. "Search her room," she screamed. They tore my room apart. Min-Seok stood by, drinking scotch, watching. They found it in my underwear drawer. It was a setup, obvious, clumsy. But Min-Seok looked at me with cold eyes. "You stole from my mother?" "I didn't," I screamed. "She planted it." "My mother is a saint," he yelled. "You are a gold digger. I see it now. You came here for the money." He threw me out that night. He handed me a check for $50,000 and a stack of papers. "Divorce," he said, "and an NDA. You sign this, you take the money, and you leave Korea. If you ever speak about the Park family, if you ever tell anyone who we are, we will kill you." I looked at him, the man I vowed to love forever. "You're a coward," I whispered. "And you," he sneered, "are trash." I signed. I took the check, and I walked out into the Seoul winter with nothing but a suitcase and a broken heart. I didn't go back to the US immediately. I couldn't face my mama. I was ashamed. I stayed in Seoul. I moved to a tiny apartment in a bad neighborhood. I got a job teaching English under the table. I was invisible. 6 months later, I was at an art gallery. It was the only place I felt human. I was staring at a painting, a dark, violent storm at sea. "It looks like anger," a voice said beside me. I turned. He was tall, broader than Min-Seok. He had a scar running through his eyebrow and tattoos peeking out from the collar of his black shirt. He looked dangerous, but his eyes were sad. "It looks like freedom," I corrected him. He looked at me, really looked at me. "You're Nia, my brother's ex-wife." My blood ran cold. I started to back away. "I signed the NDA. I haven't said anything. Please don't hurt me." He grabbed my wrist, gentle, firm. "I am not Min-Seok," he said. "I am Jae-Sun, the one they don't talk about. Jae-Sun Park, the exiled brother, the one who refused to be a puppet, the one who started his own syndicate, the Shadow Lotus, and went to war with his own family. I heard what they did to you," he said. "It was dishonorable." "I don't need your pity," I snapped, pulling my hand away. "I don't offer pity," he smiled, a crooked, dangerous smile. "I offer dinner." I shouldn't have gone, but I was hungry and angry. We went to a barbecue spot, not a fancy one, a real one. We drank soju, we ate pork belly, and we talked. He told me about his childhood, how Madam Park hated him because he was too wild, how he left at 18 with nothing and built an empire of casinos and nightclubs. "I hate them," he said calmly, "more than you do." "Why are you talking to me?" I asked. "Because you survived them," he said, "and because you are beautiful." We started meeting every week. He wasn't like Min-Seok. He didn't try to buy me. He listened. He helped me get a better visa. He helped me get a job at a museum. He became my friend. And then, he became my savior. My mama back in Chicago got sick, cancer. The treatment was $100,000. I didn't have it. I was crying in my apartment when Jae-Sun showed up. "What is it?" he demanded. I told him. He made a phone call. 5 minutes later, he hung up. "The bill is paid. She is being moved to the best specialist in New York." I stared at him. "Why? What do you want?" He walked over to me. The air crackled with tension. "I want you to stop crying," he said. "That's a lot of money for a tissue, Jae-Sun." "Money is caper," he whispered, brushing a tear from my cheek. You are art." That night, he kissed me. It wasn't a sweet, boyish kiss like Min-Seok. It was a man's kiss, possessive, hungry, consuming. I fell. Hard. We got married 3 months later. No big ceremony, just a judge in a back room of one of his clubs. "My family will kill you if they know," he warned. "Min-Seok, he is jealous, even of things he threw away. If he knows you are with me, he will destroy us." "Let him try," I said. "I'm not afraid of him anymore, not with you." We lived in secret. I lived in his penthouse, hidden from the world. It was the happiest year of my life. I saw the man behind the mafia king. I saw him gentle. I saw him loving. And then I saw 2 pink lines. Pregnant. I was terrified. "A baby." Jae-Sun looked at the test. His face was unreadable. "If you don't want it." He fell to his knees. He kissed my stomach. He cried. "A son," he whispered. "We will have a son, and he will be stronger than all of them." Leo was born on a stormy night. When Jae-Sun held him, I saw the change. Jae-Sun wasn't just a boss anymore, he was a father. "Look at him," Jae-Sun whispered. "He has the Park eyes, but he has your spirit." "We have to hide him," I said. "Your mother, Min-Seok, if they know there's an heir from the black sheep and the trash." "They will come for him," Jae-Sun agreed, his eyes turning cold. "Let them come. I have been waiting for a reason to burn their house down." For 6 years we raised Leo in the shadows. We built our own empire. Jae-Sun took over the shipping routes. He bought out Min-Seok's investors. He quietly, systematically bled his family dry. Min-Seok's company was failing. Madam Park was desperate. They were crumbling, and we were rising. And then the invitation came. Grandfather Park, the Patriarch, the only one Jae-Sun respected, was dying. He sent a letter. "I know about the boy. Bring him. Bring the wife. I want to see the future before I die." Jae-Sun looked at the letter. He looked at me. "It's a trap," I said. "No," Jae-Sun smiled, a wolf's smile. "It's a stage. It is time, Nia. Time to show them what trash looks like when it wears a crown." I spent a week preparing. I didn't buy a dress off the rack. I had one made. Black silk, sharp lines, armor. I taught Leo everything. What do you do if Uncle Min-Seok speaks to you? I look him in the eye. I do not bow. Good. The night of the dinner arrived. We sat in the back of the limousine. Jae-Sun held my hand. His grip was iron. "Are you ready?"
he asked. I was born ready. Remember, he kissed my knuckles, tonight we do not just survive, tonight we conquer. The car stopped. The doors opened. We walked up the steps of the Park estate. 6 years ago, I left this house crying, broken, with a check for $50,000 burning a hole in my pocket. Tonight? Tonight I was walking back in to buy the whole damn place.
Have you ever watched a bully realize he's no longer the biggest thing in the room? It's fascinating. It happens in the eyes first. The pupil dilates, the blink rate increases. Min-Seok was blinking like a strobe light. He looked at Jae-Sun, the brother he had erased from family photos. Then he looked at me, the ex-wife he had discarded like trash. And finally, he looked at Leo, the son he never knew he could have had. The math was hitting him. The resemblance was undeniable. This, Min-Seok stammered, standing up, knocking his chair back. This is a joke, a sick joke. Sit down, brother, Jae-Sun said. He didn't shout. He didn't have to. He walked to the table, pulling out a chair for me. I sat. He pushed me in. Then he lifted Leo and placed him in the chair at the head of the table, right next to the empty spot reserved for the Patriarch. You are in my seat, Min-Seok hissed. I am in the seat my father earned, Leo said, his voice steady. I had taught him well. You are in the seat Grandma gave you. Madame Park stood up. Her face was a mask of white powder and pure fury. Get that mongrel off the chair and get that woman out of my house. Security! She snapped her fingers. The doors opened. 4 security guards walked in, but they didn't look at us. They looked at Jae-Sun. Jae-Sun nodded once. The guards turned and locked the doors from the inside. They stood with their backs to us, arms crossed. Your security, Jae-Sun said calmly, pouring himself a glass of Min-Seok's wine, works for the Shadow Lotus now. I bought their loyalty 6 months ago. Double the pay, dental benefits. You should really treat your staff better, Mother. Madame Park sank back into her chair. For the first time in 8 years, I saw fear in her eyes. What do you want? She whispered. I leaned forward. I picked up a grape and popped it into my mouth. We're just here for dinner and the reading of the will. The heavy oak doors at the end of the hall swung open. Grandfather Park, the Patriarch, the man who started the Golden Dragon Clan 50 years ago. He was dying. Everyone knew it. Cancer was eating him alive. He looked like a skeleton draped in silk, but his eyes, they were still sharp. A nurse wheeled him in. He stopped at the head of the table. He looked at Min-Seok, sweating. He looked at Madame Park, trembling. Then he looked at Jae-Sun, and finally at Leo. Grandfather beckoned with a bony finger. Leo hopped off his chair. He walked up to the old man. He didn't bow. He stood tall. Who are you? Grandfather rasped. I am Leo Park, son of Jae-Sun Park, grandson of Nia Jenkins. Grandfather looked at me. He squinted. The American, the one who refused to break. That's me, I said. Good, Grandfather muttered. He looked at Leo. You have her eyes, but you have my nose. Pity, it's a big nose. Leo giggled. Grandfather smiled, a rare, terrifying grimace. Lawyer, bark it. Read it. The family lawyer, Mr. Kim, stood up. He was shaking. He knew what was coming. I, Park Jun-ho, being of sound mind, blah, 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 the usual legal jargon.
Min-Seok was vibrating. He was expecting the company, the estate, the power. To my wife, Madam Park, I leave the Jeju Island villa and a monthly stipend of $5,000 on the condition that she retires from public life immediately. Madam Park shrieked, $5,000? That won't cover my skincare. To my eldest son, Min-Seok, I leave nothing. Nothing? Min-Seok whispered. You are weak, grandfather's voice cut through the room. You let your mother rule you. You threw away a strong wife for a docile life. You ran my company into the ground. A king doesn't inherit. A king conquers. Min-Seok looked like he was going to vomit. Then who, he screamed, who gets the empire? To my grandson, Leo Park, I leave the entirety of the Golden Dragon assets, the shipping lines, and the estate, to be held in trust until his 21st birthday. And the trustee? Jae-Sun asked, sipping his wine. The trustee, the lawyer said, looking at me, is Mrs. Naya Park, with Jae-Sun Park acting as the enforcer. Min-Seok lunged across the table. He grabbed a steak knife. I'll kill you, he screamed, aiming for me. I didn't move. I didn't flinch. Because before he could get within 3 feet of me, Jae-Sun was there. He caught Min-Seok's wrist mid-air. Crack. The sound of the wrist breaking was loud. Min-Seok howled, dropping the knife. Jae-Sun slammed his face into the table. You touched my wife once, brother, Jae-Sun whispered into his ear. Do it again, and I will dismantle you piece by piece. Jae-Sun looked at the guards. Take the trash out. They dragged Min-Seok and Madam Park out of the dining room. I looked at grandfather. He was nodding. Dinner is served. You think that's the happy ending, don't you? The bad guys get kicked out, the good guys get the money, we eat steak and live happily ever after? Please, this is the mafia. When you take the crown, you don't just get the jewels, you get the target. Min-Seok didn't go to Jeju. Madam Park didn't retire. They went to the Red Vipers, a rival gang from Incheon that Jae-Sun had been fighting for years. They sold our secrets, they sold the security codes, and most dangerously, they sold the location of Leo's school. It was 3 days later. I was in the boardroom firing the board of directors who had helped Min-Seok launder money. I was feeling good, powerful. Then my phone rang. It was Jae-Sun. Naya, his voice. I will never forget that sound. It was the sound of a man watching his world burn. What is it? They took him. My blood stopped moving. Who? Min-Seok. He hit the school convoy. He took Leo. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I went cold. That West Baltimore cold. That I will cut you cold. Where? I asked. The docks, Sector 4, the Viper stronghold. I'm coming. No, stay at the estate. It's safe. Jae-Sun, I said, standing up and kicking off my heels. I am not asking for permission. I am coming to get my son. Pick me up. We arrived at the docks in a convoy of 10 armored trucks, the Shadow Lotus versus the Red Vipers. It was a war zone. Jae-Sun handed me a vest. He handed me a gun. Stay behind me, he said. Only if you're moving forward, I replied. We fought our way into the warehouse. It smelled of fish and gasoline. Min-Seok was on the catwalk above. He was holding Leo by the collar of his school uniform. Leo was dangling over a vat of industrial chemicals. Back off, Min-Seok screamed. He looked deranged. Sign the company back to me, or the boy drops. Jae-Sun froze. Min-Seok, look at me. This is between us. Let him go. It was always between us, Min-Seok yelled. You were the favorite, the strong one, and I was the mistake. Well, now I take everything from you. I looked at Leo. He wasn't crying. He was looking at me. His eyes, those amber park eyes, were wide. I tapped my chest. Breathe. He nodded. I looked at the support beam next to Min-Seok. It was rusted. I looked at Jae-Sun. I signaled. Left. Jae-Sun understood. Min-Seok, I shouted. You want the company? Take it. I don't want it. Min-Seok looked at me. You liar. You gold-digging. While he was looking at me, Jae-Sun moved. He shot the support beam. Bang! The catwalk lurched. Min-Seok stumbled. He lost his grip on Leo. Leo fell. No! But he didn't fall into the vat. He fell onto a stack of crates below. I ran. I sprinted through the gunfire. I grabbed Leo just as Min-Seok recovered and aimed his gun at my child. I didn't hesitate. I raised my weapon. I didn't aim for his leg. I didn't aim for his arm. I aimed for the center of mass. Bang! Bang! Min-Seok fell off the catwalk. He landed with a wet thud on the concrete. Silence. The Vipers dropped their weapons. Their leverage was gone. Their paycheck was dead. Jae-Sun ran to us. He wrapped his arms around me and Leo. We collapsed onto the floor, a pile of shaken limbs and adrenaline. You shot him, Jae-Sun whispered, looking at his brother's body. He touched my son, I said. He's lucky I didn't shoot him twice. The funeral was small. We buried Min-Seok not because he deserved it, but because we are better than him. Madam Park was sent to a monastery in the mountains. No phone, no money, just silence and time to think about her sins. A month later, I walked into the Park Industries headquarters. I wasn't wearing a maid's uniform. I wasn't wearing rags. I was wearing a white power suit. I walked into the CEO's office, Madam Park's old office. I sat in the leather chair. It fit perfectly. Jae-Sun stood by the window, looking out at Seoul. He was holding Leo's hand. Are you ready, Mrs. Park? He asked. It's Miss Jenkins Park, I corrected. And yes, I'm ready. We changed the company. No more laundering, no more drugs. We went legit. Technology, shipping, art. It wasn't easy. We had enemies, we had threats, but we had each other. 5 years later, I'm sitting on the porch of the estate. Leo's 11 now. He's teaching his little sister Maya how to play chess. Jae-Sun is grilling barbecue. He's wearing an apron that says, "The Boss." I bought it for him. He looks up. He smiles. That scar on his face crinkles. He walks over and kisses me. It still tastes like danger. It still tastes like home. What are you thinking about? He asked. The dinner, I said. 8 years ago, when you walked in. He remembers. You looked like a queen in rags. And now he kisses my hand. You are just the queen. I look at my life, the pain, the betrayal, the poverty, the war. It cost me everything to get here. But looking at my family, I'd pay it again. Min-Seok called me trash. Madam Park called me a mistake. But as I watched the sun set over my empire, I realized something. One man's trash is another man's treasure. And baby, I am the whole damn bank.